All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to pay a 2-day visit to Gujarat beginning today to participate in Khadi Utsavin Ahmedabad and inaugurate pedestrian-only Atal bridge on Sabarmati River today. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says Indian economy will grow at 7.4% this fiscal and the next year. Supreme Court says freebies may push state towards bankruptcy, refers matter to a 3-judge bench. Justice Uday Umesh Lalit to be sworn in as the Chief Justice of India today. 5 senior Congress leaders from Jammu and Kashmir quit the party after resignation of Ghulam Nabi Azad. Niti Aayog to establish 500 Atal tinkering labs in Jammu and Kashmir. Tokyo Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra creates history, wins Lausanne Diamond League meet title in javelin throw. FIFA lifts suspension of All India Football Federation, India to host Under-17 Women's World Cup. And in cricket, Asia Cup 2022 begins today, Sri Lanka to take on Afghanistan in the opening match. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 2-day visit to Gujarat from today. During this visit, Mr. Modi will inaugurate several projects in Ahmedabad, Khadi and Kutch. On the first day of his visit, Mr. Modi will address a gathering at the Khadi Utsav to be held on Sabarmati riverfront in Ahmedabad. From the same venue, the PM will inaugurate the pedestrian-only Atal bridge on the Sabarmati river in Ahmedabad city today. A report from our correspondent.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Gujarat visit will begin with Khadi Utsav at Ahmedabad Sabarmati riverfront today evening. As many as 7,500 weavers from across the state will participate in this historic event and spin the charkha at the same time throughout the event. PM will also address the weavers on the occasion. The next day, PM will inaugurate and lay foundation stone for several projects at Kutch, which include country's first earthquake memorial named as Smriti 1. The memorial has been built as a tribute to more than 13,000 people who had died in the Gujarat earthquake of 2001. Prime Minister will also address the gathering at Kutch University ground in Bhuj. In the evening, PM will preside over a function at Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar, which has been organized to commemorate the 40 years of Maruti Suzuki in India. Aparna Khun, AIM News, Ahmedabad.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the Indian economy will grow at the rate of 7.4% in the current fiscal as well as in the next year. She said International Monetary Fund and the World Bank have projected India's growth to be the fastest for the next 2 fiscal years and their estimates are in sync with that of the Reserve Bank of India. Addressing an event in Mumbai, Ms. Sitharaman also said that India is attracting new investments. She said the global situation continues to be challenging and it is not the right time to throw caution to the winds as yet. On the issue of freebies, Ms. Sitharaman said there is a need for a rigorous debate on the freebies side. She stressed that political parties making pre-poll promises should make budgetary provisions for taking care of the expenditures and not push the burden on other entities.
Your promise of a freebie cannot be burdened on to somebody else. Now, the classic example that we are seeing is of electricity. You give free electricity and no provision is made or no payments are being made in time or even no payments are being made at all. You end up shifting the burden to the DISCOM, which has not gone to the election. The DISCOM has not asked for votes. And they are being burdened by it. Why should they? And do they have the power to stop continuing the supply? So the debate is not about what constitutes freebie or not, but if you've given a promise, you make the provision, let the assembly or the parliament pass it, and then you take ahead the matter.
The Supreme Court has noted that freebies announced by political parties may push the state towards imminent bankruptcy. A bench headed by Chief Justice N.V. Ramana and comprising Justices Hima Kohli and C.T. Ravi Kumar said freebies may create a situation wherein the state government cannot provide basic amenities due to lack of funds. The apex court said such freebies are extended utilizing taxpayers' money only for increasing the popularity of the party and electoral prospects. The court emphasized that the issues raised by the parties require an extensive hearing before any concrete orders can be passed and referred the pleas against freebies to a 3-judge bench. The court listed the matter for further hearing after 4 weeks. The top court order came on petitions by Advocate Ashwini Kumar Upadhyaya and others seeking directions to the centre and the Election Commission to take steps to regulate poll manifestos of political parties and also oppose the practice of political parties giving or promising freebies to induce voters during polls.
Justice Uday Umesh Lalit will be sworn in as Chief Justice of India today. President Draupadi Murmu will administer him the oath as the 49th Chief Justice of India at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. He succeeds Justice N.B. Ramana, who retired yesterday. Justice U.U. Lalit will be in office for 74 days, a tenure shorter than average. Justice Lalit was involved in some landmark judgments in the past and will also handle some major cases in his tenure as Chief Justice. In the past, he was involved in the landmark judgment in the Triple Talaq case. Justice U.U. Lalit had studied at the Government Law College, Mumbai, and specialized in criminal law. He practiced in the Bombay High Court till 1985 and moved to Delhi in 1986. 5 senior Congress leaders and former MLAs from Jammu and Kashmir have quit the party in solidarity with Ghulam Nabi Azad, who resigned from the Congress yesterday. In his resignation letter, Mr. Azad blamed Rahul Gandhi for destroying the consultative mechanism of the party. Jammu and Kashmir Congress leaders Ghulam Muhammad Saruri, Haji Abdul Rashid, Muhammad Amin Bhatt, Gulzar Ahmad Wani, Chaudhry Akram Muhammad and Salman Nizami have resigned from primary membership of the party in support of Ghulam Nabi Azad. Mr. Azad also accused the leadership of committing fraud on the party in the name of sham internal polls. He said a remote control model has demolished the institutional integrity of the Congress and alleged that decisions are taken by either Rahul Gandhi or even by security guards and PAs.
Atal Innovation Mission and Niti Aayog will be establishing more than 500 Atal Tinkering Labs or ATLs in Jammu and Kashmir to nurture an innovative mindset among high school students. ATL is the flagship initiative of the Atal Innovation Mission launched by the centre. The objectives of the mission are to create and promote an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship across the country via interventions at school, university, research institutions, MSME and industry levels. The programs of the mission cover 34 states and union territories with the goal of leveraging India's demographic dividend by inspiring greater participation in the innovations ecosystem. Recently, a team led by Mission Director Dr. Chintan Vaishnav inspected the Atal Tinkering Labs in J&K, during which creative students displayed their innovative models and briefed about the challenges they faced while working on these innovations. He said the mission is establishing more than 500 labs in J&K schools in the next few years to promote innovative and creative mindset among the J&K students with the aim to encourage young minds in the field and challenge students to become producers of products themselves instead of consumers. The Election Commission of India has submitted its report to the Governor of Jharkhand, Ramesh Bais, on the Office of Profit case of Chief Minister Hemant Soren. Sources in the Governor House confirmed the Jharkhand Governor has been studying the Election Commission report and seeking legal advice on the case. Senior bureaucrats have also been approached by the Governor House on this matter.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah will inaugurate the office building of the National Investigation Agency NIA in Raipur, state capital of Chhattisgarh today. During his Raipur visit, Mr. Shah will also attend a seminar on Modi at 20 Dreams Meeting Delivery at the Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Auditorium. He will also chair a meeting of BJP leaders at the party's state office in Khushubau Thakre Parisar in Raipur. Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series, Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath. Reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold Channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
Listeners, in today's episode, we bring you the story of the famous victory of Kargil War of 1999.
The Kargil War of 1999 was fought between India and Pakistan 52 years after independence. The war commenced shortly after the signing of the Lahore Declaration in 1999, when the Pakistani forces infiltrated on the Indian side of the line of control and took over the Indian Army's winter vacated posts. The aim was to cut the link between Kashmir and Ladakh to isolate Indian Army troops on the Siachen Glacier. On 3rd May 1999, intrusions were detected. Then Prime Minister Atal Vajpayee sent out a clear warning to Pakistan that if the infiltrators did not withdraw from the Indian territory, then India will get them out one way or the other.
हम शांति चाहते हैं, ये तो दुनिया ने देखा. अब दुनिया ये देखेगी कि हम शांति की रक्षा के लिए अपनी शक्ति का भी प्रदर्शन कर सकते हैं. लड़ाई के परिणाम के बारे में भी मेरे मन में कोई संदेह नहीं है. हमारी विजय निश्चित है और हम विजयी होकर दिखाएंगे.
On 26 May, the first air-to-ground strike was launched by Indian Air Force, followed by Operation Vijay by the Indian Army to evict the intruders from the Indian territory. The war was fought in high-altitude mountains with jagged, near vertical hill faces, which posed both tactical and logistical problems. The Indian Army, supported by the Indian Air Force, regained control of the hills overlooking the highway NH-1A and then commenced driving the invading force back across the line of control. After 2 months of violent confrontation, the war came to an end on 26 July 1999. India celebrates Kargil Vijay Divas every year on 26 July to commemorate the historic victory of the Indian Armed Forces in the War of 1999.
Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath can be accessed on @AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on AIR official YouTube channel, News on AIR app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So listeners, tune into All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to pay a 2-day visit to Gujarat beginning today to participate in Khadi Utsavin in Ahmedabad and inaugurate pedestrian-only Atal Bridge on Sabarmati River today. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says Indian economy will grow at 7.4% this fiscal and the next year. Supreme Court says freebies may push state towards bankruptcy, refers matter to a 3-judge bench. Justice Uday Umesh Lalit to be sworn in as Chief Justice of India today. 5 senior Congress leaders from Jammu and Kashmir quit the party after the resignation of Ghulam Nabi Azad. Niti Aayog to establish 500 Atal tinkering labs in Jammu and Kashmir. Tokyo Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra creates history, wins Lausanne Diamond League meet title in javelin throw. FIFA lifts suspension of All India Football Federation. India to host Under-17 Women's World Cup. And in cricket, Asia Cup 2022 begins today. Sri Lanka to take on Afghanistan in the opening match. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
क्या आप वरिष्ठ नागरिक हैं? क्या आपके मन में सेहत, आर्थिक, सामाजिक या भावनात्मक मुद्दों से जुड़ा कोई सवाल है? आकाशवाणी आपके लिए लेकर आया है कार्यक्रम एक कदम और बुजुर्गों के लिए, हर रविवार रात 9:30 बजे FM गोल्ड पर। रविवार 28 अगस्त FM गोल्ड पर रात 9:30 बजे प्रसारित होने वाले हमारे कार्यक्रम का विषय है बुजुर्ग और पेंशन। आप अपने सवाल हमें व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर भेज सकते हैं।
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी, तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर, या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर, और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the morning news on All India Radio. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh yesterday held a bilateral meeting with Tanzanian Minister of Defence and National Service, Dr. Stergomena Lawrence Tax in New Delhi. After the meeting, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said there is immense scope to boost defence and military-to-military cooperation between both the countries. He expressed confidence that India-Tanzania partnership will continue to grow over the coming decades, taking the bilateral relations to greater heights. Smart India Hackathon is a nationwide initiative to provide students a platform to solve the pressing problems of society, organizations and government. In the 5th edition of Smart India Hackathon 2022 Grand Finale, more than 15,000 students and over 2,500 mentors participated. Addressing the students at the Grand Finale of the Smart India Hackathon, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, innovative mindset of youth will take India to top in the next 25 years. In Morning Matters, now let us listen to a discussion on Smart India Hackathons for Innovation and Development. The participants are Jiten Kumar Jain, cyber security expert, and Ruchika Chitravanshi, journalist.
The Indian Institute of Technology in Guwahati has hosted the grand finale of Smart India Hackathon recently, and the institute was the nodal center to facilitate the software edition of the 2-day-long hackathon, where 25 teams. One of the big highlights was that Prime Minister Narendra Modi started for research and innovation and said it has to be made a way of living. Mr. Jitin, can you tell us a little bit about how do the hackathons work and what are the problems that they aim to solve?
Idea behind organizing hackathons is to try and inculcate a culture of research and innovation, and try to, bring out of the box ideas and give them a supporting platform so that those proof of concepts can be created into a ready service. Now what government is trying to do in last 7 years is that they are trying to create an atmosphere where young innovators become entrepreneurs, make in India, and they live in India, and they serve the world. To create that culture somewhere down the line, the Prime Minister is now pushing that this, the dawn of digital age, the new digital revolution which world is looking at, India should not miss that bus. And our young students who have even slightest innovative ideas are given right atmosphere, right platform, and the right hand-holding opportunities.
What are the problems that given to IIT Guwahati to solve in this hackathon?
The Prime Minister has already said this is aspiring generation, and the 21st century will be the age of research and innovation. We have seen some of the finest products where students developed a technology of a deep analysis to predict cyclones. We have seen another person who were trying to translate the text in the ancient Devanagari language which were written in the temples in South India. Create a new repository for culture, our heritage. Guys from Tamil Nadu who worked on interaction with the differently able people by using photos, pictures and text. Somebody developed a mobile gaming application for the people who were, suffering from dementia, which is a global health issue.
We have been having this event annually. A lot of government departments have been sending their problem statements for young students to come up with solutions. Especially in the backdrop of Prime Minister Narendra Modi also talking about how research and innovation needs to be part of our culture. Some of the suggestions that you might want to give to the government.
The Prime Minister is very clear in his mind that India of the 21st century is moving ahead with the full confidence of youth. This aspirational society will work as a driving force for innovation in coming 25 years. He is trying to ensure that government becomes a facilitator in that journey, not an obstacle, which is the change in the very thinking that government should not appear to be an obstacle. Government should look like a friend, a helping hand as a facilitator to the research and innovation. The approach of the Prime Minister is that India cannot progress if we go towards sequential development. We have to leapfrog.
What do you think about the culture of innovation?
Prime Minister has realized the society has to move ahead with the further double the speed. So he's saying Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan. Now this is the time for research innovation. We have to be independent. For that, you have to develop products at home. The idea is that we should become the hub of innovation. We should not become the market for purchase. We should be selling the world, not buying from the world. So India has to be powerhouse of technology for innovation. And for that, we have a ready workforce of almost, 10 million engineers here today.
In fact, he has said that innovators need to find solutions for agriculture-related issues as well. PM talked about was the National Education Policy, which also talks about innovation. So can you tell us a little bit about what is the idea there and how does it plan to achieve it?
If you look at today's education policy, they are trying to make it more relevant to the contemporary needs. He's trying to focus on computing, coding at early age. So today, if you see in this policy, so much of educational content from the best of institutes in India, IITs, IIMs is available online, free of cost, every section of society to pursue those courses. The spirit behind education policy is to transform the way a child is educated with a new age skill set so that he is ready for a contemporary world.
It goes beyond coding. It is about mindset. Can you give us a global perspective? Are these hackathons used in other countries?
This culture was very new to Asia, but in Southern Asia, literally no one was doing it. So I think India probably was the first one to catch that bus. And today, 70% of the top performers in this Facebook or Google, bug bounty programs are Indians. So India has also realized that if we develop this culture, very soon it will not only help creating a culture of entrepreneurship within India, it will also reduce our dependence from foreign technologies.
Well, as we progress as a nation, you rightly said that India needs to go for a leapfrog. The education policy is taking a very long-term view of how we need to inculcate research and innovation in our culture. Thank you so much, Mr. Jitin, for joining us.
Most welcome. Thank you so much. And with an appeal for everyone to buy Indian products wherever possible so that these innovations are sustained for the very good of our society.
Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, visited the Blue Flag certified Eden Beach in Puducherry in the morning today. He inspected the infrastructure facilities available on the beach. The minister is in Puducherry to attend the various functions today. He will also inaugurate the coastal cleanup event and awareness drive on the Promenade Beach in the presence of Lieutenant Governor, Chief Minister, ministers and officials. In Maharashtra, devotees travelling to Konkan for Ganesh Utsav will not have to pay toll tax from today. As per the government resolution, this waiver will be applicable for travellers across Mumbai-Bangalore and Mumbai-Goa national highways as well as other roads maintained by state's Public Works Department. All the concerned authorities, including police and traffic departments, have been instructed to issue passes mentioning Ganesh Utsav 2022 Konkan Darshan as title. The pass must also contain vehicle number and driver details and must be pasted on the said vehicle. Devotees can use the same pass for their return journey as the waiver will be valid till 11th of September. Earlier, Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde had announced this toll waiver in the last month.
And moving on to sports, Tokyo Olympics gold medalist Neeraj Chopra has won the javelin throw competition at the Lausanne Diamond League with a best throw of 89.08 meters. With his best throw at the event, Neeraj became the first Indian to clinch the prestigious Diamond League meet title. Neeraj has thus qualified for the Diamond League finals, which will take place in Zurich, Switzerland on the 7th and 8th of September. He has also now qualified for the 2023 World Championships. The Cricket Asia Cup 2022 will kick off today with a match between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. On the other hand, defending champions India will start their campaign with a match against arch rivals Pakistan tomorrow. It is worth noting that the continental event was earlier set to take place in Sri Lanka, but the economic crisis in the country saw the tournament being shifted to the United Arab Emirates. The Gulf nation will be hosting the event across two venues, the Dubai International Cricket Stadium and the Sharjah Cricket Stadium. The continental event will be played in the T20 format, featuring 6 teams divided into 2 groups at the start. In their respective groups, the teams will be playing each other once. 2 top teams from both groups will then advance to the Super Fours, where all 4 teams will be playing one against each other. The final will take place on the 11th of September. All India Radio will broadcast ball-by-ball commentary in Hindi and English of the tournament. The commentary will be available on National Hookup. FIFA has lifted the ban imposed on the All India Football Federation AIFF after the Supreme Court terminated the mandate of the Committee of Administrators. The decision has cleared the deck for India to host the Women's Under-17 World Cup scheduled to take place from the 11th till the 30th of October. The World Football Governing Body FIFA had suspended the All India Football Federation on the 15th of August for undue influence from third parties. In a letter to the Federation, FIFA mentioned that the Bureau of the FIFA Council has decided to lift the suspension with immediate effect. The Bureau of the FIFA Council has decided to lift the suspension after FIFA received confirmation that the mandate of the Committee of Administrators it was set up to assume powers of the Federation Executive Committee had been terminated, and that the Federation administration had regained full control of daily affairs. FIFA also said that it will continue to monitor the situation and will support the Federation in conducting its elections in a timely manner.
All India Radio has launched a weekly interactive program, Abhyas, for competitive examinations. It is aimed at reaching out to students and job seekers preparing for competitive examinations. The program is in Hindi and is broadcast every Saturday between 9:30 to 10 p.m. The 22nd episode of the program will be aired today. The topic for this episode is anthropology. All India Radio News has got an overwhelming response for the show, with questions received from across the country. The episode of Abhyas will be on air on 100.1 FM Gold at 9:30 p.m. today. Join us at All India Radio News for Abhyas every Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Now let us have a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi will have strong surface winds during daytime. Minimum temperature was 26 and maximum will be 35 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius and maximum will be 32 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius and maximum will be 36 degrees. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky, while Jammu also will have partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy later.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. A top front page headline in the Hindustan Times writes, incoming CJI Lalit starts with big push for reforms. While the Hindu reports the CJI designate promises clarity and transparency in listing of cases, says at least one constitution bench will function all year. FIFA lifts ban on AIFF. Now Women's World Cup back in India, writes the Pioneer. Health-conscious India becomes number 2 smartwatch market in Q2 of 2022, surpassing China, is a front-page headline in the Hindu business line. Nagaland gets second railway station after 100 years, writes the Indian Express. With Health Ministry creating a portal linking Aadhaar and electronic KYC, the Economic Times notes Ayushman cards with center-state logos to help beneficiaries. And finally, India assures UN about its climate action targets, as mentioned by the Times of India under the headline, by 2030, 50% of power capacity will be from non-fossil sources.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to pay a 2-day visit to Gujarat beginning today to participate in Khadi Utsavin Ahmedabad and inaugurate pedestrian-only Atal bridge on Sabarmati river today. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says Indian economy will grow at 7.4% this fiscal and the next year. Supreme Court says freebies may push state towards bankruptcy, refers matter to a 3-judge bench. Justice Uday Umesh Lalit to be sworn in as the Chief Justice of India today. 5 senior Congress leaders from Jammu and Kashmir quit the party after resignation of Ghulam Nabi Azad. Niti Aayog to establish 500 Atal tinkering labs in Jammu and Kashmir. Tokyo Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra creates history, wins Lausanne Diamond League meet title in javelin throw. FIFA lifts suspension of All India Football Federation. India to host Under-17 Women's World Cup. And in cricket, Asia Cup 2022 begins today. Sri Lanka to take on Afghanistan in the opening match. And with that we end the morning news. Have a nice day.